Modern European history. Where does it start? When can we first use the term modern in contrast to the period that came before, which is generally called medieval history, from the end of the Roman Empire in the West to the beginnings of the modern world? What are the turning points that lead to the modern age? Not so easy to say. Transitional periods, for sure. What's known as the Dark Ages, a real static period of European history, certainly is the pre-modern world. Do we call the bubonic plague that struck Europe in the mid-1300s, killed 1/3 of the population of the continent, this one disease, some 23 million people, and the devastation that resulted in, as a turning point and leading to the beginnings of the modern world? Perhaps. With that huge loss of life, certain lords of the manor, who had their serfs with various obligations, are beginning to think things in a new light, given that huge loss of serf population. Why don't I just rent them the land and get a yearly fixed payment? This is a kind of tendency that would lead to the modern world. Running away from the manor to the towns and seeing a revival of the towns and the beginning of guilds and work and crafts in the towns. This might be seen as the beginning of the modern age. And what we see also that certainly would be an indication of that modern age would be the beginnings of a brand new economic and social system. Capitalism. Briefly defined, perhaps, the pursuit of profit by business means. How does this system begin? 2 examples. Marco Polo's visit to China and the wonders that he saw there, the modernity compared to medieval Europe, to be sure. Coming back, reporting what he saw, disbelieved at first. Other travelers confirmed what he had found. How does this lead to capitalism? Well, somebody, some anonymous figure. What if? What if I took a caravan from here in Western Europe over to China? Difficult as that was, as risky as it was, and purchase what's plentiful there, what's remarkable there in China, but is unknown or rare in Europe, and take that back with me to Western Europe and set up my wagons on a busy crossroads and sell those goods for more than I paid for them, more than my expenses. The difference is my profit. This is one of the beginnings of capitalism. Another example. Some nascent entrepreneur in England. Wool from the sheep turned into clothing. What if? What if I made an arrangement with that shepherd to purchase that raw wool, take it into my home, and me and my family, and maybe eventually a hired worker, to turn that wool into clothing ourselves. And the difference between what we paid for the raw wool and my expenses is my profit. Another beginning of capitalism, which would prove to be able to produce so much more than what the medieval stagnant European society was producing. This would be certainly a hint toward the modern age. In cultural terms, you have the Renaissance, rebirth of ancient culture, ancient Greek culture, rediscovering those things that were kept through the Middle Ages, either in the church and church philosophers, keeping alive the philosophy of a Plato or an Aristotle, the powerful Arab Empire and their great philosophers, Averroes, Avicenna, keeping alive that ancient Greek intellectual tradition. It being used and rediscovered along with the architecture, along with the painting, and all the greatness of ancient Greece. This is part of the heart of the Renaissance. Centered in Italy, expanded to other parts of Europe. And what we see in this Italian Renaissance is that Renaissance person, that Michelangelo, that Leonardo da Vinci, brilliant at many
Sample complete. Ready to continue?